My dear, my dear, my dear, you don't know it, but I know it.
Welcome out, everybody. That's right. This is the Remix Morning Show. Black Power Media. In case you didn't know, I go by the name of the Ear Doctor. Let me introduce you to your host today. We got Kalonji, Erica Brant, and Burn It Down Kim Brant.
Yes, Black Power. That's how we need to start this thing off. Black Power, because it's Black Power Media, right? Sometimes we forget about the Black Power part, so I had to bring that back just in case. Heard the Ear Doctor talking about Tom Cruise yesterday. I'm back today, baby. Back today. Heard the Ear Doctor talking about Mr. T reminded him of a modern day Mansa Musa. That was out of control. I had to come back today, baby. You know what I mean? I usually take Thursday off, but I don't know what was going on yesterday. Meet the Browns. What's up, Kim Brown? Erica Brown? What do?
Brown sisters checking in, reporting for duty.
Okay. Ear Doctor with the Fela Kuti. You know what I mean? Early this morning.
No doubt. Good to see all y'all smiling faces today, man.
Yeah.
Yes. It's a wonderful day in the neighborhood. You know what I mean? On a Thursday, which is a what do they call it? A Remix Friday.
Yeah.
That's what the day is.
Yeah.
I mean, so we got started off right on Remix Friday. First and foremost, we want to acknowledge our Queen Mother, Fannie Lou Hamer. Everybody know about Fannie Lou Hamer, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, no doubt. So on this day, 59 years ago, Fannie Lou Hamer and several other civil rights activists were attacked, beaten, and arrested when they sat in the whites only section on the Greyhound bus. And then they got off the Greyhound bus and they ended up at the bus terminal, and they decided to sit back in the whites only section. And despite demands from police, bus drivers, etc., they refused to move, and they were brutally attacked, beaten. And Fannie Lou Hamer, one of her eyes, she lost her vision in one eye, and also her kidney. You know, she had suffered permanent kidney damage, which led to her death in 1977 at age 59. So today, we want to remember Fannie Lou Hamer, one of our sheroes.
No doubt.
I mean, let's get this thing started right.
That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah. And one more thing. Today is the 18-year anniversary of the FTP movement. Shout out to all my Siafus out there. We rolling, baby. We still here. Almost 2 decades. You know, so definitely salute to y'all. Anyway, how y'all feeling, man? I ain't mean to take.
Congratulations, Kalonji. Don't skate over that. That's a BFD right there, my guy. I mean, 18 years strong as an organization and growing, and we got organizing is the new cool. I mean, you should really take a bow for that, sir. Like that's dope shit.
Taking no credit. Community. I'm giving it all to our comrades, to our
team. Even better. See, look at that.
Without them, there would be no FTP movement. And we got to always remember that it takes, you know, we're not into code of personality. You know what I mean? We're not into fashionable militancy or empty rhetoric. It's about that work. So shout out to all of my FTP movement folks, which includes Siafu Youth Corps, which includes the African Martial Arts Institute, 52 Block ATL, Freedom Home Academy, Mama's Army, Urban Survival Preparedness Institute, National Coalition to Combat Police Terrorism, and our newest crew, Buffalo Soldiers, which is our women's gun club that'll be coming on deck soon. And if I forgot anybody, you know,
hey,
what it is.
I can't wait to sneak my candy in the movie theater and go see this documentary, man. Straight up.
Yo, listen, I'm glad you're gonna sneak your candy in as long as you don't sneak into
all that.
No doubt.
$10 for a popcorn bag, they bugging.
It's hard body out here, ain't it?
Sure.
Man.
Look.
Anyway. Peace, man. How y'all feeling, man? I'm sorry, man. I'm just kind of excited today.
Erica, what's good?
I'm good. So I get up early in the mornings. I'm up usually by 5 Central, and then I do my workout. So I'm just kind of rushing today because I'm just finishing my workout. I'm trying to make sure I can come and join y'all today. So I'm a little behind, but
You Russian? I thought you was African.
Boom, boom, boom.
you know,
Every
every time I try to like him,
He makes it that much more difficult, huh?
yes, then he does something.
Yo, but you had the quote of the day yesterday, though, Erica. I went back and I checked out the show, and Erica said, "You know, ear doctor, it's like you always give us something, and it's coming, and we looking at it, and we're waiting for it, and then all of a sudden we're confused."
He snapped it right back.
No doubt. Shout out to the ear doctor for his mystery history. You know what I mean? Because you will definitely get a mystery history lesson.
History. Yes.
Man.
That should be an actual segment, ear doctor. Let's get into that. Let's
I thought it was.
It's unintentionally the mystery history.
No doubt. No doubt.
What
Shout
about
out
you,
to the ear
Kim?
doctor.
Girl, I mean, keep it a buck. I just overslept yesterday. You know, y'all know I try to have decent attendance on the morning show. It just was not happening yesterday. My Tuesday show was a little exhausting because this cracker was on Twitter moving mad. So, you know, we had to collect him on our Tuesday show for Burn It Down with Kim Brown. So, you know, well, here we go. But that's okay. Tonight, y'all, we have a special edition of Burn It Down with Kim Brown, a Thursday night edition, because Tunde cannot join us tomorrow. So Burn It Down with Kim Brown will be tonight at 7 p.m. Please make a note of it. And we will be talking about the ways in which Black women experience police brutality and violence through the state. We're going to give an update on the sister Leona Hale out in Kansas City. It should be a very good show. And we may have a guest joining us. I'm hoping that they confirm. Yeah, so I'll get into that a little bit later in the show. But anyway,
that's heavy duty. That's heavy duty. And look how you did that, man. You know what I'm saying? You have something dealing with women being abused and terrorized by the police on Fannie Lou Hamer Day. This
How
is
about that?
You know,
See?
so on point. See, I ended up Tunde did the right thing and didn't even know it.
That thank you for that new got of knowledge there, Kalonji, because I will include that on my show tonight, because that's important, because that, you know, it's an unbroken cycle. And without question, our brothers experience police brutality at very high rates from a very early age, but I won't say we don't talk about it, because we acknowledge Sandra Bland, we acknowledge what happened to Breonna Taylor, but you have to know that this brutality, it doesn't stop, right? There is always, if it's, you know, women being brutalized by police, or women dying behind the wall, you know, whilst incarcerated, like these things happen to women, Black women, all the time. So I just want us to note it.
And being in intimate partnership with police is also not helpful a lot of times.
Yeah.
Yes.
Indeed.
You know, it's you know, and I'm glad you're speaking on that, because I can recall some years ago when in the Cook County Jail in Chicago, they had a situation where women were forced to wash out and reuse their sanitary napkins. This was maybe a little over a decade ago, maybe like 14, 15 years ago. You know what I mean? So, you know, it is, you know, when we talk about war, you know, this is protracted. This isn't a situation where the state knows gender. They acknowledge no gender. They acknowledge no shape, no size. They acknowledge no economic status, any of that type of stuff, financial status, because they're serious about this war. And I think that we often get confused, and that is why it is important for us as community workers, as activists, and I consider the two of you activists, whether you do or not, because you're out here disseminating information. And, you know, just like with the military, you know, Jared talks about how he was on the custodial piece on deck. There's a role for everyone in this war. There's no neutrals in war. You have to decide what side of the barricade you on. So, you know, whatever you're doing, you have to do the best, your best at it. And we have to recognize that this war it's not just about police brutality. It's not just about political prisoners. It's about the whole of it, the environment, animal rights. If all of imagine if all the freedom fighters and all the activists who had all of these different points and choices that they make and little groups that they hug on and hold on to. Imagine if they all said, look, we're fighting imperialism and we're fighting the capitalist system, and we're going to come together, and the animal rights activists, they'll be against the death penalty because of the fact that they know that they should be pro-life. If you care about a dog, you should care about your brother or your sister. And if you care about your brother or sister, you should care about the environment, because without the environment, without the climate, it's not gonna work out too well for us either way.
Environment's in bad shape, by the way.
Yes.
Environment is in terrible shape. Maybe that's a story we can get into once we slap it the map it up. But yeah, there's a report out from the United Nations saying that catastrophic collapse of the ecosystem as we know it, as the planetary system, whatever. That's bad. Like, I mean, it's crazy to think that we could see things like this in our lifetime. But we will see it. And if we don't, the baby them will see it. So it's preparation and informing ourselves about what is coming. I think is absolutely something that we need to be part of right now, because this is our environment too, goddamn it. And we got to protect the forest down there in Atlanta. Kalanji, shout out to the forest protectors in Atlanta, the tree sitters in Atlanta, like holding ground, like turning them construction crews away. So yeah, shout out to community movement builders, shout out to the forest protectors, the tree sitters out there in Atlanta. I respect the shit out of that, trying to stop that cop city from being built. So yeah,
no doubt. But before we go any further, y'all remember Charlie's Angels?
Yeah.
Today's Kalanji's Angels.
Yeah.
I mean, Jackie Lukman in the building. What's up, Jay?
What's going on, good people? Excuse me, rushing today. Wild couple of days, crazy busy. I want to be a tree sitter in Atlanta. I do. I want to be a tree sitter in Atlanta I want to, commune with the animals and train the animals on how to poop strategically on construction crews. And I'm saying, look, we have to be at one with nature, even in revolution now. Come on.
Already.
Without a doubt. Yes. So I'm glad that Jackie decided that she's gonna be pooping on trees and everything. It's a little personal, Jackie.
She did not say that.
Not me.
It's the headphones. Okay.
Animals.
It's the headphones. Don't trip. But anyway, yes. Shout out to all the folks out there fighting for the environment, because oftentimes we forget about the environmentalists. You know what I mean? And there's some I know some hardcore environmentalists, a few that were actually political prisoners, and they weren't just hugging trees. I mean, they were
with the shits.
Man, they were accused of blowing up car lots and all types of stuff because they were serious about the environment. So they like, look, get this shit out of here. We ain't having it. You know what I mean? So, definitely shout out to, because sometimes when folks say they're environmentalists, you think they soft. You know what I mean? Like you're a sucker because you love the planet. I mean, like,
right. That was propaganda, though, Kalanji. All that was propaganda set forth after, I guess, the Earth Day movement, and it was like, oh, you tree hugging hippies. Like, that was a pejorative. Like, that was something to insult people with in my youth, and I always thought that was really strange. I'm like, why try to cut down people who are trying to protect really us all? But yeah, so I'm glad that I hope that mentality has shifted in the culture.
Yeah, not really. It really hasn't. I mean, when you look at like the 60s and the anti-war movement and the rise of the hippie movement, the whole, dirty, unwashed hippie kind of, with dirty feet sleeping around with everybody, that really
smelled like patchouli. Smelled like patchouli.
Yeah, smelling like patchouli and that other P word that we can't. That was really like this weird subversive kind of almost like a marketing campaign that came out of conservative circles to really disparage these people's legitimate concerns about the really oppressive morality that people lived under, the anti-feminism, the gender oppression, the racism, and the Vietnam War.
Right.
So then, you come back to, or you come forward to 2022, and how are leftists described? How are not even actual far left communist socialists, us radicals, but just progressives? How are they described? As whiny, entitled children who, are lazy and don't want to work and want everything handed to them. So it's all a negative PR campaign by the conservative right, of course, but also by neoliberals, by the centrist right-leaning liberals and the neoliberal capitalist class, to disparage the generation of folks coming up, saying now that capitalism kills, so we have to destroy capitalism before it kills us all.
Hey, but you know who was one of the first revolutionary Black movements fighting for the environment, practicing veganism, and also fighting for animal rights? There's an organization out of Philadelphia called the MOVE organization. You know what I'm saying? So when you think about environmentalists, you don't have to think about the little white boys with the flowers and the little white girls with the Scooby-Doo vans. And you could also think of FTP, because FTP is for the planet. Don't get it twisted. Anyway, we're going to bring the ear doctor on deck so we can get some things started around champ. What up, ear doctor?
Everything's good. It's funny you mentioned patchouli. When I used to sell oil, that was the Latinos love patchouli. That was one of the biggest sellers.
Yeah, I wasn't gonna say one, but yeah,
just like Black people's Egyptian musk,
Was that the top choice of Black folks? Egyptian musk, or was it sandalwood?
Really? A little bit of Blue Nile with some water.
Blue Niles, you had to be rocking. Me, I was always the frankincense and myrrh cat, because of the fact that it was a spiritual thing. You know what I mean? Plus, it covered up my weed smell. You know what I'm saying? When I come through the house with my mama. Yeah, well, not in my house. You know what I'm saying? Even though they knew, they was like, that don't smell like no damn frankincense and myrrh. And what's wrong with your eyes? I got pink eye.
And speaking of hugging trees, Kim, you do enough hugging trees now, so
she definitely hugged trees. But anyway,
I love trees. Love trees. Trees need hugs.
So let's go get to this break right here, right now, on Black Power Media, the Remix Morning Show. Let's get it.
Remix Morning Show, Kalanji's Angels.
It's the ear doctor.
What's good, everybody? What's good, everybody? Welcome out once again to the Remix Morning Show. I go by the name of the Ear Doctor, in case you didn't know. So please, at this time, as I asked, make sure y'all hit that like button, that subscribe button. We got about 162 people watching right now, so go ahead and hit the button. We need to see all those likes. And matter of fact, hit that notification bell so y'all can know what's coming up. And also go to patreon.com and drop some change in the bucket, because you know we love it. This is a movement, y'all. Let's make it move. All right, so what we're going to talk about today, you see I'm back at school, and I'm about to take y'all to the Ear Doctor School of Thought. That's right. So what am I going to talk about today? Back to words have meaning. That's right. Let's talk about it. So what word are we going to talk about today that has meaning? No other than petty. That's right. This word right here, petty, is a word that a lot of people use. So let me talk about it. All right, so first of all, let's read it out here. Petty, of small importance, trivial, okay? Having or showing tendency to make much of small matters. Small scale, minor, narrow-minded, ungenerate, I can't even say the word, ungenerate. Yeah, I think I said it, especially in trifling matters. Okay, boom. So let's look at some of the synonyms. All right. Let's look at some synonyms. Okay. So we got small-minded, childish, closed-minded. I mean, this word right here, as we talked about other words, is a word that is low vibration. Low vibration. It's pretty much saying, well, let me continue to bring up something that's going to, pretty much bring somebody down. And at the same time, let me be childish. It's all about the ego. And we talk about the ego a lot. The ego will make you do stuff that makes you feel good, but doesn't make others feel good. So with this word, just like some other words, when we talk about low vibration of being humble and not truly shining, it's another word of low vibration. And a lot of people actually be like, yo, I'm happy that I'm petty. That means, as some would say with the synonyms, you're happy that you're small-minded. Come on, we got to do better than this, y'all. So I just wanted to bring up that word right there, petty, and talk about it real quick, because words have meaning. All right, now let's get back to our host on the Remix Morning Show. Yeah.
That was real petty, Ear Doctor.
Huh?
Ear Doctor. I'm saying, I know it's not, but it kind of feels like a shot when Dr. Jared Ball, the king of petty, is not here to defend himself.
Petty officer, that's fair. That's
Chief
foul,
Petty
ain't it?
Officer Ball is not here to defend himself against this slanderous definition of petty, I would say.
Did I keep it till Thursday? Because I knew he wasn't going to be here.
Why you subtweeting Jared? It's not right.
Hey, listen,
Right.
man.
Listen, a lot of us be like, "Oh, I be on some petty." Like it's a good thing. It's really not.
There is a place for petty.
Thank you.
And you have to know it.
It's feeding the ego. It's feeding the ego. That's not. Come on, we gotta do better than that, y'all.
Hold on, Ear Doctor. You can't tell us that we gotta shine all the time and we kings and queens and gods and goddesses. That is feeding the ego. How is that any different from every once in a while putting somebody in their place who wants to cut you off at the knees, and sometimes you got to get down there and knock their knees out too? How you can't? Come on, make up your mind. We either gonna feed the ego in one way, or we gonna not feed the ego. Make up your mind. Come
Look
on.
at Jackie defending petty.
I sure is. Because sometimes I do be dabbling in the petty, because some people come at me that way. And sometimes people do think that because you're a nice person, you're very kind, you're very accommodating, you're very diplomatic, 75 to 80% of the time, they can come at you slick and they can give you a cheap shot. And then they find out, oh, it's not that way.
It's not that
way. It's not that way at all. Not only can I be petty, but I'm vengeful and mean about it. So
look at Jared.
Shout out to Petty Officer Ball in the chat.
Jared, you gonna stand for this? Turn your camera on, Chief. Address this. Address this.
I had your back, man, but it got thick up in chin. But
all this pettiness, I'm out of here.
Hey, and I feel you. I feel you what you're saying, Jackie, man, because all my life I had to fight.
All my life I had to fight.
It's like always appeared to look younger. I was always smaller. You know what I'm saying? When I went to high school, my freshman year, I didn't get my growth spurt till like sophomore, junior year. I was 4'9" on the football team. Yeah,
football team. Jesus.
Yeah, and I had a chip on my shoulder the size of Brooklyn.
I
bet. You know what I mean?
5'1". What?
Yeah. I was, man, it was hard out there, but I was still, I had jokes and whatnot. So, plus I was kind of nice, had that whole, African Napoleon complex where, you can get got, you roll up on me. You know what I mean? But yeah. So it was a hardened process. Sometimes you gotta, like Lauren said, through the logic and the theory, add a motherfuckers so the ignorant niggas hear you. Anyway,
it was hard out here for an imp.
Man, they say it's hard out here for a pimp, but it's much rougher on the hoe though.
You say imp? Oh,
hard out here for an imp.
She said an imp. I'm out of here. Hey, doctor. Speaking of imps, let's slap that map. Welcome to the Remix Morning Show, where the people I'm here with today have lost their goddamn minds. You know what I'm saying? And I know Erica. She often, her facial expressions are like incredible. She won't even hide them. She's like, sometimes it's like, I don't know how the hell I got on this thing, but glad I don't have a day job because I probably wouldn't have it anymore. But anyway,
that's why I had to leave, because they were like, ma'am, we see your face.
We see you. Oh,
So
girl, you one of those? Are you? I listen. On the job, it was impossible. I can't hold my face. I have no poker face. Like, niggas start talking to me crazy, it is going to be reflected in my face. And you cannot say anything. You cannot retort or reply or whatever. But motherfuckers will still hold you accountable for the way your face is presented. They really will. You're like, is everything okay, Kim? Yep, everything's fine. You know what I'm saying?
Like, I know exactly what you're saying.
I'm the opposite. I'm always laughing in people's face. So I'm like, you talking crazy. It's funny to me. I'm like, look, in my mind, I'm like, I could fuck you up, but I'm just gonna go ahead and laugh at you just to make it, make you want to jump. But anyway, I'm non-violent like King of them. We got some fresh news today. Who want to get it started on the news tip?
Don't everybody speak up at once now.
Okay.
I had some stories. Hold on, I didn't have them handy because I don't know. Like, I feel like this is like a group project, and I'd be relying heavily on the group. You know
if I throw something in the chat, will y'all pick it up for me?
I didn't do my homework, but I bet you Jackie did her part today.
We'll pull something up. I want to say to Rob in the chat, I'm no longer small. That was like, it was many years ago, my man. You missed the growth spurt part. We'll get it twisted up in here. Anyway.
All right. Here's your story. Erica, I think. There you go.
Yes. I don't know if y'all had a chance to see this. I think one of America's favorite mayors, Lori Lightfoot. And basically, Lori is saying in this story that her team in Cook County, they're spending a lot of time, with the prosecuting folks, put them in jail and all that kind of stuff. Mm-hmm. And so basically, Lori is saying that by virtue of the fact that Cook County does its due diligence in arresting these people and doing investigations, that you can bet by the time they get to trial, they're already guilty, right? Like, we don't even need to go through this process. So if you could scroll a little bit, Jackie, I'll tell you what she said exactly. She's Lightfoot, an attorney and former prosecutor, repeated a common refrain that Cook County judges are being too lenient on people being accused of violent crimes, and more defendants need to be kept in jail as they await because they are a danger to the community by definition. So she is saying, and she goes on to say, we don't want to turn Cook County into a debtor's prison. We shouldn't be locking up non-violent individuals just because they can't afford to pay bail. But given the exacting standards that the state's attorney has for charging a case, which is proof beyond a reasonable doubt, when those charges are brought, these people are guilty. So I just want y'all to know, in Chicago, y'all ought to be happy that by the time they get y'all, they've done enough. You are not innocent until proven guilty. Lori says you're guilty already.
Now, this is the same Cook County jail we was talking about earlier. Remember that?
And what's wild is she goes on to say, of course, they're entitled to a presumption of innocence. She just said,
they're guilty.
If they locked up in Cook County, they ain't innocent, whether they've had their day in court or not. Oh, of course, they're entitled to their day in court. This is what representational politics gets you, y'all. This is what happens when somebody can parade in front of the people and say, vote for me because I'm Black, gay, queer, and quote unquote progressive. But then people ignore, they pay attention to the buzzwords, but they ignore the fact that the chick used to be a cop, y'all.
Right.
Once a cop, always
a cop.
She a cop.
This pisses me off, especially in the wake of the most recent, one of the most recent Supreme Court rulings of this term, which basically cut out the guts out of the Sixth Amendment for your right to have an attorney, but for your right to have a fucking competent attorney, right? So basically what the Supreme Court ruled is that if you were found guilty of a crime in state court, your appeals are limited, because if for reasons that evidence was not presented during your trial in the first go round, well, then that's just tough shit. Even if you are in jail beyond with evidence to exonerate you, but beyond the preponderance of a doubt, you know what I'm saying? They will still keep you in jail now. You don't have a right to continue to appeal to your freedom if you were misprosecuted, or even worse, had bad legal representation, who was incompetent and not able to present evidence or get evidence admitted that would have cleared you. So this is actually very scary. Like, and then there was a Supreme Court decision, I think, that came out yesterday, and I need to go through it so that I fully understand. But for what I'm able to glean, this was a case pertaining Border Patrol agents and running up in people's houses without warrants, arresting people without probable cause. And the court ruled that Border Patrol agents absolutely have a right to do this. So I don't think that standard is just going to be limited to Border Patrol agents. I'm pretty sure it's going to be all police. Like, so any concept we may have had of any sort of due process, Lori Lightfoot, with her comments here, is alluding to that. If the police catch you or wrongly catch you for something, don't even fucking matter, man. They want your ass in jail. You are going to remain the fuck in jail.
That's why what Jackie said in regards to, they're gonna, like, one thing Imam Jamil, formerly H. Rod Brown, would say. He said, if they're looking for, if you're green, they're going to get a green soldier. You know what I mean? We get caught up in the symbolism, and it bites us in the ass every time. We look at Eric Adams, and like you said, we forget that these are folks who are career pigs. And once a pig, always a pig. You don't, all of a sudden, I'm no longer swine and everything's fine. That's just the reality of it. And we must look at Chicago itself. Chicago is one of the most criminal cities in the world. It's one of the most structured cities, but definitely a criminal city. You're talking about the city where the Daley regime comes from. You know what I'm saying? It was the first mayor, Daley, who was part of the whole assassination of Chairman Fred Hampton Sr. You know what I mean? And then, of course, you had, Junior, who pretty much sold the city as far as Daley Jr. And, and you look at Rahm Emanuel. Here's a cat that was in the White House that stepped down from the White House and decided to go become a mayor of a city. That should tell you something. When they say the Windy City, they're not talking about because of the air. You know what I'm saying? It's the hot air that these politicians and these criminal police are putting out there. You know what I mean? So, that's the home of Capone. It's not a this ain't a it's by design. Lori Lightfoot.
White Hood, that's not wrong.
You know what it is? I was actually thinking about Laura Whitehouse.
It fits.
Yeah, she's Lori White Hood. That's pretty good. But we knew the deal when she first stepped up there, but folks were jumping up and down, she's a woman, or she's a part of the LGBT community, she's black, so on and so forth. But at the end of the day, a black cop, a white cop, a woman cop, whatever, a pig is a pig. We got to keep that in mind.
What about even pig sympathizers? Jacqueline Luqman, as a resident of Washington, D.C., there is a mayoral primary underway. I don't know how close it is, but your best friend, Muriel Bowser, I'm just playing, Jackie, please don't fight me. I know Muriel Bowser is not your best friend, but I'm being facetious here. Muriel Bowser is seeking to be the first, I believe, third-term mayor since Marion Barry, if I have that correct. And she has a bit of a crowded primary field. Your thoughts? I'm just curious. Your thoughts about the DC mayoral primary that is underway? I think they have already sent out ballots in the mail. Mail-in ballots have been sent. And I'm not asking you how you're voting, but if you want to share,
I ain't voting for that heifer. I'm not voting for that heifer. Not vote for that heifer. I didn't vote for that heifer last time. I'm sorry for those who are offended by me calling a woman a pejorative. I apologize. I
That's a
apologize.
term of
to actual-
endearment.
I apologize to
Sandy.
actual cows for calling her that word. But
Yeah. And I'm loving it, by the way. You're saying what I thought.
Is it your city council person running for mayor? Is it Trayon? Trayon White?
He is. He is. He is not going to win, and then that's okay. That's okay. I mean, because this is. I think that I have a lot of thoughts about his campaign. This is one of those like stair step kind of campaigns. You know,
Yeah.
you run the first time, you get the experience, you get your feet wet, you learn your lessons, and then you come back and you do better next time. You should be stronger and more polished for it. I think that if he were not, and I don't mean polished in a like establishment suit and tie, speaking the proper English kind of way. I mean politically savvy kind of way. There are, you can be, he should always be that brother from the hood, right? He should always be that brother from Southeast. But you don't have to say everything that you talk to your brothers with in the barbershop at the city council meeting. You don't. So he's getting some guidance on that from some people who I actually know and have a lot of respect for. So I think he'll be all right in a couple of years. Probably Robert White, I think, might be her closest contender, and I don't think he's gonna actually. He's not going to defeat her because too many. And I'm not going to blame all this on the gentrifying white folks and the gentrifying rich bourgeois black folks in this city. A whole lot of bourgeois wannabe middle class black folks love themselves some cops in this city because they hate poor people. Because they hate poor black people, and they believe that all of the problems in the city are because of these poor young black kids who are running around making trouble. But these are the same people who are not doing anything to push the mayor to create jobs. She could to create affordable housing. The city's budget got plenty of money to do that. The DC police budget is it's over $500 million. It's like $655 million. That's just the cops.
And that's just DC.
That's just DC.
That has nothing to do with does that include the Capitol Police as well?
Oh, Capitol Police is a separate police force. They're actually a federal police force.
Right,
DC also has, I don't know how many federal police forces that are all under the jurisdiction of the agencies that they are the police forces of, but they all have arrest jurisdiction in Washington, D.C.
Some fucking bullshit.
Some bullshit. So there are all kinds of different police forces in D.C. that exist and operate that have jurisdiction that can lock you up, right? And the mayor is a proponent of, she likes the 1033 program, even though there is no listed contact for the Defense Logistics Agency, a coordinator with the 1033 program for DC. It's not that they don't receive any equipment from the military. It's just that they cover their tracks, so they don't ever have to answer for it. The Metropolitan Police Department has a long-standing training agreement with the Israeli Defense Force, where MPD officers go to Israel and are trained by the IDF using the same tactics and the same weapons. They don't bring those weapons back here. They get them from the Department of Defense that are used against Palestinians, same tactics, same weapons, and they use them against us.
So they have the same program as here in Atlanta. They have the Gilly program on Georgia State campus, where the police are trained by Israeli forces here. But anyway, go ahead. Yeah.
Same thing. We don't have like a cop city going on, but there has been an effort to integrate more police into the neighborhoods by giving them tax credits or some type of programs where they could get down payment. We got 2 cops living in this in my neighborhood, and they've been there for a while, and they know me, and they don't like me, and I want to keep it that way. That's just, we don't need to be friends. I put my RBG flag out. We put our Black Lives Matter flag out. They knew And I was like, yep, that's us all day.
We got one correction though, Jackie. You said you don't have a cop city. The city is a cop city.
That's
You know what I'm
true.
saying? We're in the police state, and I think that we get confused by what the different tools and devices that they use on the plantation. The plantation is the plantation, regardless of whether it's 100 acres or 20 acres. You know what I mean? It's the same program. So
you're right. Thank you for that correction. I received that. I am humble enough to receive that correction.
Not petty enough.
I'm not gonna be petty.
No, not petty, right?
But
don't be petty.
And then finally, Bowser, with all of her talk about providing affordable housing and putting, I think it was $100 million in an affordable housing trust that nobody can really figure out what that money will be used for, where it will be allocated, how, whatever. She's still clearing homeless encampments.
Yes, I was going to ask you about that.
Yeah, she's still clearing homeless encampments. She still has not taken any money that the DC government has and literally just bought a damn building, bought 5 buildings and said, here, move in. That is truly affordable housing for all. She could do these things. She does not, because she answers to the developers. She answers to the gentrifiers. There's a whole lot of not in my backyard going on here in DC still, where things like halfway houses for returning citizens that our pastor actually just got approved. He had to fight for 5 years to get a location for it, because all the gentrifiers are like, we don't want that in our backyard. And now the whole city is the gentrifiers' backyard. This ain't Chocolate City anymore. So Muriel Bowser is doing her job as the mayor of a gentrified city. She is not the mayor of Chocolate City. Chocolate City in DC doesn't exist anymore. She is the mayor of a gentrified city, and her allegiances lie with the developers. And don't forget Michael Bloomberg, who threw all that money at her. You think she gave it back?
So Jackie, do you think she's gonna win? I mean, is she in your estimation? That's just
we ain't gonna get rid of her. Yeah, not this. We gonna have to deal with her for another
4 years,
for another term, and honestly, we're just gonna have to step up our efforts with grassroots political education and organizing to keep her from appointing her successor, because that's all right. I don't see where she's like talking about anybody yet, because people don't realize Muriel Bowser has a huge ego. She comes off with that, I'm a DC girl, Northeast down home, but she bougie as hell, and she got a huge ego, and she sees herself as the queen of this city.
Yeah.
So she's not talking about a successor, a protege right now, but I wouldn't be surprised if somebody else starts showing up with her at press conferences and she starts name dropping some folks. I doubt if it would be anybody on the city council, because everybody hates pretty much all those people.
I was going to say, Jackie, I mean, I think after this term for Muriel Bowser, DC could be primed for a white mayor. Might be time. Might be time.
I mean, at this point with the demographic shift, I can't see it not happening. I cannot say for certain that it will never happen with the demographic shift. I think in the past, the only possibility of that happening would have been Carol Schwartz, and she was actually a Republican. And she was actually pretty dope, to tell you the truth. She wasn't that bad, but she's, elderly now, and there's nobody like her, Republican or Democrat, who really had the interest of DC residents at heart. So I think the only other person who in the next election who might show up again might be Vincent Gray, perhaps. I don't know how interested he would be in running again, but I think he's the only person who could immediately give her a run for her money. And he should be primed to do that, since he was exonerated from her claims that his campaign was corrupt in the last election. So I hope that if he does run, he brings all the petty about that. I was actually kind of disappointed that he didn't run against her this time. I'm like, what you doing? Come on.
Oh, well, I mean, you know this, Jackie, but just for everybody's knowledge, the last mayoral election, I guess this had to have been the last one, Jackie. It was alleged that Vincent Gray had done some sort of inappropriate conduct in office, not sexual, but
Money,
money. And he was under alleged an investigation. That is what basically tanked his campaign, because he had the specter of this investigation hanging over him, and it was just too much for him to successfully retain that second term. But I will say this about Vince Gray. I went to a mayoral debate. This had to have been a long time ago now, maybe 10 years, where he was still the incumbent, and it was at the Six and I synagogue, right? And Vincent Gray, he was late. Vincent Gray came up in there, and when I say he gritted on everybody, like everybody that was on stage, like he was looking people up and down. I'm like, what you about to do? Fight people on stage, Vincent? Simmer down. Take it down a notch. But I respected him for that. I said, yeah, grit on all these niggas. Yes.
For real. I mean, if Trayon White is like the youthful 2022 version of Murray and Burry, because you know how we pronounce we don't pronounce our vowels correctly. It's Murray and Burry. And it's true. Vincent Gray is like the old head OG version of DC Hood. That man, he's a nice guy. And I don't agree with all of his politics. He can be neoliberalish. But he is who he is. He is authentic. He's not like putting on airs. So if you are in like a public arena and you piss that dude off, you gonna know. You gonna know. And if he mad at everybody in the room, he mad at everybody in the room, and everybody in the room gonna know.
It's funny how across the board they use the same playbook, because I'm listening to you all talk about the probability of there being a white mayor in DC. How long has there been a black mayor in DC?
Ever since there have been mayors in DC, since 1976, when what was it? That was the first mayoral election. When Congress let us vote for
allowed DC
so the same here. So in Atlanta, they've had a black mayor for 40 plus years, and it's the same program that they're selling everything out. They're you have Chocolate City, and Atlanta is supposed to be the black Mecca. They give you this facade of blackness, and it's of course, it's all being gentrified. It's all being ran. You have these Israelis training the police. You have police unions backing everything. You have the city officials selling the contracts and to the highest bidder. And usually those highest bidders are white. And it's just amazing, because our people are confused into believing that there's some type of sense of hope through symbolic gesture. They feel like, okay, we can win. Look, our mayor is black. Or, in Atlanta, we always have the coolest mayors, quote unquote. They know all the rappers. You know what I'm saying? They at the parties. They have the Obama effect.
Ew.
You know what I mean? They're hanging out everywhere. You know what I'm saying? And it's just wild, because, we go for the same two-step over and over and over and over again, and it's like they just shift the playbook around the country and keep it moving. What are you all's idea for because as I'm not for electoral politics, but I am for local politics, because all politics is local, of course. What are you all's thoughts of a third party in the DC area, or what's the possibility of someone in the ranks coming up and really bringing a different type of tune to the sheet?
It's hard, because this is a very big Democratic stronghold. I mean, I'll let Jackie speak about the district, but let me speak for Maryland real quick. The Democrats that run things, and they don't just run things; they run things to in order to smite progressives, right? Anyone that's talking too radical, if you're talking, defund the police, like the Democrats will try to come for you and make sure that you are negated out of the race entirely. So here in Prince George's County, our current congressperson, Anthony Brown, Anthony Brown, who used to be Martin O'Malley's lieutenant governor, just to give you some sort of idea what kind of time Anthony Brown is on. So Anthony Brown lost the governor election to Larry Hogan 2 terms ago, and they let him be congressperson of my district here in Prince George's County. Well, now Anthony Brown has other in-state, I think he's either running for state's attorney or he's running for another, statewide office. So now they're going to let Donna Edwards be congressperson again. Donna Edwards, who was the first Black woman to run what I would say a competitive Senate campaign some years ago, where the Congressional Black Caucus, instead of endorsing her, a Black woman congressperson, instead it had some endorsement for Chris Van Hollen, the white man, which I was like, what? Like, what? Yeah, that was insane to see the CBC not support a Black woman, but instead by de facto, endorse her opponent, who was a white man. Did I say that already? That he was a white man? He was a white man. So just to give you some idea where the Democrats are coming from, like it is a preservation of this Black bourgeoisie, sort of accessory to white people's political fuckery in the state of Maryland, and especially in PG County and Baltimore. You see that as well too. So in terms of a third party candidate, there are third parties here in the state. But again, like for example, we have a gubernatorial Democratic primary coming up in Maryland in July. And it's a closed primary, right? If you are not a registered Democrat or Republican, you cannot vote in this primary. That includes me, because I refuse to be a Democrat anymore. But and I think that's where we could actually sort of organize and build to, for example, open up these primaries so that they're not closed primaries, because I think that would actually help for a third party to gain a foothold, because people would actually be able to come out and participate. But that's not what Democrats want. They're not too concerned about Republicans, because this is not a Republican stronghold. Larry Hogan notwithstanding, Republicans being elected to statewide office, I won't say it's an anomaly, but it doesn't happen very often. It's been 20 plus years since Maryland last had a Republican governor. So Maryland's not too concerned about Republicans, but they are more concerned with third party progressives and or people who are more radically left than what the Democratic establishment here is statewide. So I think if we can organize to open up these primaries, that would even things, or try to adjust the power scales somewhat. But yeah, I hope that answers your question. Sure.
Yeah, we have to go to the ear doctor, but when we come back, I want to talk. I want your thoughts on the Congressional Black Caucus, because most of us see them as toothless tigers and as pieces of feces, for lack of better words. But we're gonna bring the ear doctor on deck, and then stay tuned for the second hour. We will be back with more, and we have some guests coming up as well.
Yo, I love how around the country they pronounce different words, like how you say Marionberry and YouTube and and then how certain letters are replaced. Like in New York, they, instead of the T, they put a V, like mother and father. And like how down south, instead of saying orange, they say orange.
Orange.
With an E. The O is it. I love it, man. I love our people. I just gotta say that.
Thank you, ear doctor, with his pronunciations. You know what I'm saying?
Hey, cuz. And I'm taking you out Cali now. But okay. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna take a quick break, right quick, and get right back to you right here at the Remix Morning Show.
It's the Remix. Black Power Media.
All right. Welcome out, everybody. Welcome out. So, you see, I'm in the streets. Why am I in the streets? I'm in the streets where hip hop was born. In case you didn't know, back in like 1973. You know what I'm saying? Back in the day. Why am I in the streets? Because I seen something that the streets do not agree with. What don't the streets agree with? Well, let me show you. Well, the Rolling Stones magazine just came out with 200 greatest hip hop albums of all time. Now, let me talk to you about this right here. First of all, when you see these names of the people that actually, let me help you out a little bit. Let me make it a little bigger here. When you see the names of these people that, you know, pretty much put this together, I see Charles. Yeah, I don't see no Lakeishas. I don't see no Trayvons. I don't see no, you know what I mean? I'm seeing a lot of other people's names. So when we talk about even starting with the top, let's say 10 albums, when you talk about art, how do you really judge art? You know what I mean? How do you really judge art? With that said, I want to take y'all to what they started off with. Now, the first album that they started off with, if I could get to it, this thing is bugging. All right, here we go. So the first album I seen on here, I was like, okay, a lot of people will say that's an album that should be on. So the first album they had is Notorious B.I.G. Ready to Die. Okay, that was a good album. It's a good album. Next, they go to Outkast. Outkast Elevators? Come on, man. You put Stank on you? I don't know what they do, how they do this. It's just like I'm saying, how do you judge art? Is it about how many sales you get? What type of feeling you get when you listen to the album? Number 4, Public Enemy. I love it. Definitely be on there. Kendrick Lamar, To Pimp a Butterfly. It was a lot of poetry mixed with hip hop, which is cool and everything. But when we talk about hip hop, I want all hip hop. And then you don't got the Purple Tape on there by Raekwon. Kanye West, My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy, number 6. Missy Elliott, love Missy Elliott, definitely. Wu-Tang, okay. Tribe Called Quest, and Lauryn Hill. All right, but then number 11 is Drake, Take Care, and Clips, Lord Willing. All right, it's a lot here. I'm just gonna stop it right there, and I'm gonna say this right now. We must stop letting the narrative be changed. This is an art form that we created, and if it's going to the Rolling Stones, and that's what they saying, that's a move. I'm just saying, man. Art is something that we put forth. I don't know if it could be judged, especially by others, but I don't know who made this list, but the streets ain't hearing it. And that's all I got to say about this Rolling Stone magazine, which you would think so many years of music, they would be credible, but come on. I'm just saying. Now let's get back to the Remix Morning Show.
Well, y'all know who wants to know how they judge music is Lil Nas X, because he's wondering why BET didn't nominate him for any awards, but Jack Harlow got some nominations. So Lil Nas X is wondering.
Well, Kim is
on
mute. But I would say this, Lil Nas X, I don't really hear him in the club. I'm just saying. I ain't saying that the club is the standard, but he did have a point. A lot of people are still getting used to, the LGBT and all that stuff. But I don't know. His music don't get played in the club, just like Eminem don't get played in the club.
I mean, but not the club that maybe you go to, Ear Doctor. Maybe the gay club, he's getting lots of play. You know what I'm saying? Like we don't know. You ain't in every club, Ear Doctor, out here.
Damn.
But I mean,
BT Awards ain't in those clubs, I guess.
I don't know. I mean, obviously BET is being homophobic against Lil Nas X. Let's just call the thing a thing, because this is not the first time that he has been snubbed, I believe, by BET. And Lil Nas X, I mean, whether or not we get it or understand it or like it or whatever, he is, for his generation, yeah, he big cultural influencer in helping to have conversations around Black gay culture. You know what I'm saying? I like Lil Nas X actually for that. And I like the fact that he makes homophobic Black people uncomfortable. I really like that. I really
did you
like
hear
that.
His little diss track, Kim, that he did to BET?
I want to hear it. I'm
Oh
interested.
yeah, he had a little. And I'm not gonna lie, I'm not a hip hop head or any other kind of head. No, but I was like, okay, Lil Nas X, I'm gonna listen to it yesterday.
But circling back to Ear Doctor's list, Ear Doctor, who's on the
please do.
committee? Who's on the committee?
Wait. Before you say that, I heard him say something about Kendrick Lamar, and I need you to say what you said again, because I was kind of confused. I logged off for a second.
I was just talking about as in it's a lot of poetry and different things on his album, which is cool, but I'm talking hip hop album. I don't see it on top 10 for that album. I'm just saying.
And did they have it listed? The category, is it listed as hip hop albums? Because I do take umbrage with the conflation of hip hop and rap, because rap is the fucking genre of music. Hip hop is the culture, motherfuckers.
You got a point there. It's 200 greatest rap albums.
Thank you. Okay, well then that's okay. That's one less thing I'm mad about.
Yeah, I don't. I mean, if you're saying that, I mean, I haven't seen the list, but just some of the stuff you talked about is kind of weird. When we're talking about 200 greatest, I mean, it's like, and what magazine?
Rolling Stone.
Rolling Stone.
I mean, come on, man.
Who's on the committee? This is what I want to know. Who is on the committee? Because my mind immediately went to a bunch of non-Black people, you know what I'm saying, whom have Black friends who tell them it's okay. Oh, it's okay if you call me nigger, Laura. It's all right. I don't mind.
Not even just that. I think the culture of hip hop is misunderstood as a whole, and I think there's so many folks that they're biased towards generations, and there's some classic albums that go all the way back to the 80s. You know what I mean? And there's albums by people like Run DMC, you know what I'm saying? Houdini and groups like that, whose music still plays, it's still bumping. You know what I mean? Arrested Development, you can find Arrested Development music playing anywhere in the country every day of the year. You know what I'm saying? Mr. Window, Tennessee, you know what I'm saying? And so many others, but it's like, a lot of these artists don't get the credit that they deserve.
They put Nas Illmatic like at 23. I'm just saying.
I mean, listen, as an Outkast fan, as a lifetime Outkast fan, to put Stankonia above Aquemini, come on. Knock it off. Knock it off, Rolling Stone.
Who is Clips, though? Because you said that. I don't even know who that is. Who is
the Clips?
I'm sorry.
Clips?
I love that you asked that question, Erica. Like,
no,
I really love
in sincerity. Please don't kick me out of no clubs or nothing. Who is it?
Which makes it even better that you're being sincere.
It's a group from North Carolina that came up under Pharrell.
You know their music.
Virginia. I thought they was from
Virginia. My bad.
They are from Virginia.
I'm thinking of another group.
But about Little Brother?
Little Brother.
Let me help you out. Yeah. And Little Brother is actually doper than Clips, but go ahead.
Do they have a song that the people know?
When's the last time you heard it like this?
Grinding.
Drink something, get rich. Yeah. Move that ass, girl.
It sounds different when Kim said. But anyway. Anyway, we have some guests. I know y'all want to talk about Rolling Stone's greatest hits.
Oh, no, we don't.
Greatest misses.
Well, that's the break for the day. I'll catch y'all later.
Peace, Ear Doctor. Thank you.
Yeah. Anyway, that was Ear Doctor with his greatest hits. We do have some guests coming up in a second. My man Lakeem will be joining us, and hopefully he has another brother that should be coming on deck as well. And we're going to be talking about what's going on with these political prisoners this weekend. There's a big rally going on in Atlanta, and you two are welcome to stay on board and ask questions if you like, because y'all look like like y'all think y'all was gonna go somewhere, but I ain't going nowhere. Anyway, my man Ear Doctor gonna take us through this transition, and we'll be right back with our first guest. Good morning. happening? Welcome back to the Remix Morning Show. Waiting for my guest, Lakeem. Where you at? You know, I see you in the back. You hiding something, you know, but we gonna see what's popping in a second on that. Anyway, what's happening this weekend? There's a major rally here in the Atlanta area in which we're supporting political prisoners, 3 in particular. One would be Ma'am Jamil Alameen, formerly H. Rap Brown, and the other would be Kamal Siddiqui and Dr. Mutulu Shakur, who all 3 of them have been suffering, ill, and you know, going through different phases. And we're looking to make sure that everything's on point with them. Give me 1 second.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, cool. I got confused with my guest. He's having some technical difficulties. But anyway, so this is a weekend that's going to take place here in the Atlanta area. You know, so I was asked to MC the joint on Saturday evening. So we'll be out there at Malcolm X Park, which is formerly the West End Park. The name hasn't officially been changed yet, but we're changing it because that's what we do around here. So
What time, Kalonji? All day?
6 p.m. Eastern. At the yeah. And we plan on broadcasting it live here on Black Power Media because it's necessary for us to do the work that we need to do.
Absolutely.
Anyway, while we're waiting for Lakeem, we can go ahead and continue on with our convo.
Can you pick up that link I just dropped in the chat, Kalonji, because there is also some other happenings going on this weekend. The National Black Radical Political Convention is happening June 10th through June 12th. I'm hoping we can get Brother Khalid Rahim on Burn It Down with Kim Brown tonight around 7:30 so he can chat it up and let us know what's going on. But this theme, the theme of this year's convention is hold on, let me find it because I saw it and I was like, oh, that's dope. I appreciate that theme. But this is I think in part going to be virtual, and then some of it is going to be in person also. So there's still time for you to register if you are interested in participating or watching. The NBRPC.org, NBRPC.org is going to be that website. And where am I here? Sorry. But yeah, check that out because it's definitely, you know, the more the better, right? Like you can't get enough of this. Everything that's happening in Atlanta, and this convention as well. Like just more. Just tune into to it all. Tune into it all. So I just wanted to just promote that real quick because I'm aware that it's happening, and yeah.
And we appreciate it. And the theme is building principle unity. And we definitely need principle unity. So
thank you for that, Kalonji. Yes, principle unity, which is a theme that I think that we have here on this channel, on this platform. Yes,
absolutely, principle unity and functional unity. We definitely need functional unity. I want to bring on our good brother Lakeem. He looks like he's found his way back home. What's happening, my man?
Peace and love, y'all. Can you hear me clearly?
We hear you well, brother. Good to see you on deck today.
Good to be here with you, brother. Thank you for the opportunity, man. Good to see you all, and good to hear y'all having positive vibes and funny things going on and real strong things going on. Principle unity, functional unity. We need it all the way around. So that's what's up.
No doubt. Lakeem is a comrade who is a serious organizer. He's been organizing for quite a while. Right now, part of his main focus is working around political prisoners. Give us a give us a background of we've had you on the platform before, but for folks who are new and might have missed you, give us some background as to your organizing work and who you are today.
Yeah, so I go back to like the late 80s, really the early 90s, back in Tallahassee, Florida, with the Black Survival Movement. Some people y'all might know, but they helped get started in the Uhuru Movement chapter in Tallahassee, Florida. And some of my earliest work was political prisoner work, working on the campaign to free Fred Hampton Jr., Chairman Fred Hampton Jr., and working with Mama Akua, then Chairman O'Malley, and a lot of others. So political prisoner work, dealing with police brutality, police harassment, dealing with weed and seed and all that stuff that now we got the government supposedly apologizing for. Back then they were acting like it was the best thing since sliced bread and they were doing us no harm. And now we see we got sisters still in prison for never touching drugs and so forth, tied to that whole conspiracy law stuff. So, that was the early days. Fast forward, I came to Atlanta and started a chapter in 2000, the Uhuru movement, left Atlanta and then went up to DC, and I hooked up with DC with Dr. Mutulu Shakur's friend, student, mentee, Dr. Winston Kokai Patterson, and got into the revolutionary work of healing. I learned acupuncture, detox, nutrition, natural health, how to deal with healing ourselves, healing our community, how to deal with taking care of our health so that we can do the work that we need to in our communities, and how we can serve our communities in a revolutionary way through natural health care. And so got into that work, and then fast forward to Atlanta again, and through that work, I got pulled into the campaign to free Imam Jamil Al-Amin, formerly known as H-Rap Brown. And so I'm the local coordinator for the Imam Jamil Action Network here in Atlanta presently. And so, we're coming off the heels of a big basketball riata, a fun family activity, but, I made sure to make it a political activity, something where we can get involved and get engaged and help to free Imam Jamil and free them all. So,
No doubt. For folks who are unaware of who Imam Jamil Al-Amin is, because it's like, for those of us that know, it's like two different people almost. It's like he had two lives.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Give us some feedback on Imam Jamil Al-Amin from his H-Rap Brown years to now, if you could.
So many people know about the metamorphosis of Malcolm X, El-Hajj Malik El-Shabazz, from Malcolm Little to Detroit Red to Malcolm X to El-Hajj Malik El-Shabazz to Omar Wale. But we don't know about H-Rap Brown to Imam Jamil. H-Rap Brown began as a teenager. He used to organize under his brother Ed, and may Ed rest in peace and power, and our ancestor Malcolm. But he organized under his brother and became a powerful organizer. He became a powerful orator. He was one of the first to protect Black voters to go vote with guns. When the white mob would be attacking our people, he was one of those who said enough is enough, and made sure that our people weren't getting killed and so forth by protecting them in an armed way. While a lot of people promote nonviolence and we see it all over the place and tout how important it is, what we don't know is that the only reason nonviolence works is because there were brothers and sisters in the background willing to be violent, willing to protect us against violence. And so H-Rap Brown was one of those, and he started there. The Lowndes County Panthers is where he began, and the Black Panther Party for Self-Defense got its name from the Lowndes County Panthers, who were protecting our people to go vote. The ballot was the Black Panther ballot. It was vote the Black Panther and go home, get out of the streets. Don't stay out here lingering for these mobs to be trying to get at us. And so he was one of those early protectors. He later became a member of the Black Panther Party for Self-Defense. It was a Minister of Justice with them. He was a Minister of Defense for the Republic of New Africa, and also the 5th president of SNCC in Alabama. So all of these things was where he was involved. So when we hear names like John Lewis, when we hear names like Stokely Carmichael, Kwame Ture, we hear names like excuse this horn in the background.
Fannie Lou Hamer, right? No doubt.
Fannie Lou Hamer, yeah. So he was one and the same. He was one of the same type of people. But he was, they gave it's called the H-Rap Brown Act or something like that, because
Brown Riot Act.
Riot law, yeah. So that people talk about reading you the Riot Act, I think of something different when people say that. I think of H-Rap Brown, because what they did was they said that you can't go across state lines and incite riots. Well, he wasn't inciting riots. What was happening was he was speaking to the crowd, and then the cops shot him, and the people stood up for him. The people stood up and did what we do to protect ourselves and our families and so forth. And so But at that early point, he was targeted. He was known for saying that violence is American as cherry pie. That's one of his most famous quotes. Because we didn't get here by nonviolence. America didn't establish itself by nonviolence. It was a whole culture of violence that got us here. And so for us to not protect ourselves in that way is kind of unbelievable. So this is some of the things that he was involved in early on. Because he was one of these who was on the list, the COINTELPRO list of the preventing the rise of a Black Messiah. So people like Chairman Fred Sr., may he rest in peace and power, was murdered. People like Malcolm were murdered. People like Martin were murdered. May they all rest in peace and power. People like Imam Jamil were locked up. They were incarcerated. They tried to kill him. They tried to firebomb his car. Ralph Featherstone and another brother were killed in that firebombing of his car. Again, like I said, they shot him in Cambridge, and they followed him all his life. When he went to prison in 2000, when he went to prison and went to court in 2002, they found 44,000 pages of government surveillance on him. Yeah, 44,000 pages of government surveillance on him from his early years up until 2002. And what that shows you is that he's been tracked, he's been traced, they've been after him, and he'd been to prison numerous times before he went in 2000. And all of the times that he went to prison, none of the charges were legit. Nothing, not that any charges are legit, but there's nothing, no evidence for anything that he's done. And in this case, in 2000, he was accused and convicted of killing a Fulton County sheriff's deputy and shooting another. The sheriff's deputy that shot him, the sheriff's deputy that was shot and killed, as well as the sheriff's deputy that was shot, described the person that was the shooter. The sheriff's deputy that wasn't shot, English, he says that Algernon, he says that the man that shot was 5'6", 5'8", with cold gray eyes, and we shot him. Y'all know Imam Jamil, he's a big baller. He's 6'5", he's got brown eyes, and he was not shot. He in fact was nowhere near this when it happened in another state. And a part of why he was locked up is because he was working on building community. One of the things that I didn't touch on is the community that he built in the West End back in the 80s, 90s. He built a strong Islamic-led community in that area. He helped clean it up. And people know about Atlanta. People know about areas that are crime and drug ridden, where the conditions are not that great, like the Bluff. The West End was very similar to this, and it's not like that now at all, and it hasn't been for a long time since Imam Jamil and those who would come and protect and clean that area up. One of the brothers hosting right here is a part of that movement. One of the brothers right here, Kalonji, is a part of helping to clean up and protect people in the West End, not just protect us from ourselves, but protect us from the police. And so Imam Jamil was known for these types of things. He was building an Islamic-led secular community in Whitehall, Alabama, which is in Lowndes County. So taking it full circle, he had a lot of support there, nationally and internationally, to build this community. And again, these are some things that the United States powers that be and those that control them, were trying to do anything they could to thwart that. And so he's been in prison over 22 years now for a crime that he didn't commit, for a crime that someone else confessed to that fit the description when it happened. And that confession continues to mount in its significance to this day, where it's video confession and a written confession, and now he's been deemed mentally sound. So all of these confessions from 2000 to now have not been admitted in the courts, and so that's part of what we're calling on Yeah, so I'll pause.
No doubt, no doubt. No, I appreciate, and I think we appreciate that abridged version of the story, because I mean, believe it or not, I mean, it's like, I mean, that's the surface of Imam Jamil Al-Amin, formerly H. Rap Brown, and the story is so insane with this conviction. I mean, it's ridiculous. I mean, they accuse him. One of the things they said was that he shot these officers, and that the bullet traveled on the hood of his car from here to Alabama, driving at 70 miles an hour, and they found the shell casing on top of the hood of the car. In court, they put this same shell casing on top of a table, and they said, "Is this the shell that you all found on the thing?" They said, "Yes, it is." The attorney blew the shell and it rolled off of the table. But this is the same shell that they claim traveled on the hood of a car from here to Alabama. You know what I mean? So it's just, I mean, it's so insane. And that same judge who convicted him, name is Stephanie B. Manis, and may she rest in peace. She also she also sentenced another political prisoner by the name of Kamal Siddiqui. And we have a few minutes. If you could tell us who Kamal is as well, folks are kind of familiar with Dr. Mutulu Shakur, and then we'll talk about what's going on this weekend. And if you sisters have any questions, feel free. I'm sorry if we hijacking,
Yeah, and just real quick to touch on Imam Jamil before Brother Kamal, is that, like, I talked about the metamorphosis. So he went from a very poignant and some would say volatile speaker as H. Rap Brown to when he converted. He went to one of the times that he went to prison, he converted to Islam, and he became a much more calm and nevertheless eloquent speaker. And his ways of being were not as public, not as in the limelight, but nevertheless effective. And so these are some of the things in terms of metamorphosis. The same calm, the same strong voice, but now in a much calmer manner was Imam Jamil. So Brother Kamal Siddiqui is one of our liberators, one of our real soldiers, and someone who is I'm real careful about what I say in regard to the brother, but he's the parent of he and Assata Shakur are co-parents. He is a part of the liberation of Assata Shakur. He's someone who will say himself, I'm just a soldier, and he's someone who really put his life on the line and put his life in harm's way for us to be free, for us to have what we need. And again, he is someone else who there's no evidence of anything that they tried him for, anything that they say he committed. And as Brother Kalonji said, the same judge, how does the same judge wind up on our freedom fighters case? The same judge that locks one up, locks up the other. So we know, you can see the patterns. We can see how the system works. People say the system is broken. The system is doing exactly what it's designed to do. Keep our leaders away from us, keep masses of us incarcerated as a form of modern day slavery, and a great source of free and nominal income labor, or nominal cost labor for the system. And so, the brother Kamal has been in prison for again, way too many years. Here you have an elder who has all sorts of injuries, and both of these brothers and Dr. Mutulu all have life-threatening illnesses. And what we see is a case where they're being killed, murder by medical neglect and elder abuse. Kamal Siddiqui, 69 years old, and he's kept far away from his family. He's kept in conditions where the medical treatment or access to quality medical treatment is little to none. At points dealing with, even to now, dealing with like open wounds and things of that nature. You know, what we say is that, like, in terms of the elders, in terms of these brothers being elders, you know, they're elders. They need to be home with their families. You know, if nothing else, you know, let them out for those reasons. They're not coming home to do any of the things that y'all think that they think are threatening, which, you know, freedom and self-determination shouldn't be a threat to anyone, unless you're trying to thwart it, stop it. And you know, these brothers like Sundiata Acoli, you know, give thanks his home with his family, ailing. You know, he's got dementia, but he's home, and he's with his people. You know, that's what we need for our brothers, Kamal, Imam Jamil, Dr. Matulu. You know, again, these brothers are aging, ailing, and they're, you know, there's proof that there's no recidivism, not that there's anything to be repeated. You know, there's no crimes to be repeated, you know, other than standing up for the people. You know, there's all of these brothers have been accused of things that there's no evidence of, accused of things that they have no ties to, but what they do have ties to is being freedom fighters. What they do have ties to is standing up for the people. What they do have ties to is being people who say that enough is too much, that we shouldn't turn our backs, we shouldn't turn our cheeks, and we shouldn't not be self-determined, and that we can control our own resources and our own lives. And so that's you know, that's their crime, and nothing that has to do with a court case, nothing that has to do with evidence or anything like that.
Did you have a question now, Erica or Kim?
I just wanted to know, because at least for me, a lot of times when I think about political prisoners and when we talk about them, their stories are a bit frozen in time. And so I'm really interested in how are they able to maintain familial relationships throughout the decades that they're imprisoned, right? They've given up their freedom for hours, but do they have any, you know, I guess, is there anything there for them in terms of their families having access? And so when they do come out, that they do have those communities available to them.
So what I want to say in regards to that is that yet, like, so part of access to families. So part of them being incarcerated is to limit their access to families. Imam Jamil is a state prisoner. He was arrested in Fulton County for a crime that's a state crime, but he's held in a federal penitentiary in Tucson, Arizona. He was in Georgia at one point. He was in Georgia at one point. They moved him from Georgia to Denver, to Colorado, and then Supermax, and then to Tucson. Again, he's a great leader. You know, the brothers in the state of Georgia wanted him to be the imam for the whole state when they were locked up. You know, when he was locked up here, that's why they got him out of Georgia. In terms of access to family, for Imam Jamil, like he has his legal team. They have access to him. They have opportunity to get to him, but again, they have to fly from the East Coast to the West Coast to do that. In the immediate, that access is denied, and so when they come home, they'll have full access. You know, they'll, like Sundiata, like Brother Russell Maroon Schultz, may he rest in peace and power. Like Sekou, and Daruba and others, like they can come home and be with their families, and they have access, and each scenario would be different, but Imam Jamil has family here in the Atlanta area and on the East Coast, that are looking for him to come home and preparing for that. Kamal, his daughter's coming from northeast to the southeast, to visit with him, and connect with him, and is waiting in the wings for him. Talib Shakur, Mopreen, Setua, they're all on the east and west coast, and waiting Dr. Matulu's return home. And so there's places for them to go. There's people ready to care for them, and they would and will have access. And again, that's what's happening now. They're being moved around. Like Dr. Matulu, is away, whereas he's in Kentucky. So his family has to travel from up north, the southeast, and the west coast to Kentucky to get to him.
Real quick, because
Right.
we are running out of time. Tell
Okay,
them-
no problem.
Tell the folks what's going on this weekend.
Yeah, so we have a Freedom Weekend conference. It's a whole weekend conference, but the part that's public is the Saturday evening at 6 p.m. We have a rally at what we call Malcolm X Park. And if you Google it, it'll show up. Malcolm X Park. It's West End Park, 1111 Oak Street, Southwest in Atlanta, Georgia, in the heart of the West End, right across from the masjid and the community and the store and everything that Imam Jamil helped to build. 6 p.m. Saturday, and you'll have speakers from each campaign, the campaign to free Kamal, the campaign to free Dr. Mutulu, and the campaign to free Imam Jamil, formerly H. Rap Brown, and you have speakers on those aging and elders in prison. You have people speaking on medical abuse and neglect. You have people speaking on prisoners' rights. They count every prisoner in a county for them to have, for the counties to get money, whether that's federal or otherwise. But these people that they count in these prisons can't vote. They build these counties build whole economies around the prison system. But then the prisoners have no rights. The prisoners have no say. And so there'll be some speaking on that, amongst other things. And so 6 p.m. Saturday at 1111 Oak Street in the West End in front of the murals. So there's other things happening in the park that day. You want to go to the murals by the tennis courts, where you see the image of Imam Jamil and El Hajj Malik El Shabazz, Malcolm X. And that's where we'll be convening. And and our great host is going to be MC Kalonji. So we're looking forward to that. There he is,
And security will be on deck. So if you think about running up on the car,
okay,
get left there.
You already know.
No doubt. Hey man, definitely appreciate you coming through and sharing this very important information with our audience, because we talk about freedom fighting, we talk about revolution, and if you're not talking about our political prisoners, you ain't talking about shit, because any of the work that we mentioned, at any time, any of us can become a political prisoner. So we need to be clear about that. It's not just, I had a gun and all that. There's folks who have been locked up literally on no charges. You have Veranza Bowers, who was locked up and served his time fully. And he's been held, I believe, 15, 16 years beyond his sentence. He was supposed to have been out around, I believe, 2006. And he's still being held by the DOJ. And there's been 6 different DOJ heads since then. And I mean, literally, he has no time to serve. His time is served fully, and he's still locked up. So don't think that, once you serve your time, then that's it. They'll come up with all types of nonsense to throw it up on you. So definitely appreciate you coming through.
Thank you. And that's the same kind of situation with Dr. Mutulu. His term has been served, but his parole has been denied 9 times. It's not for not serving time. And I just wanted to throw out the website for you all to check out to get more information, or just to get those details that I shared, and so you can see them yourself. It's at freekamal.com, freekamau.com, freekamal.com, and you can find the banners right at the top of the page. And click on it, and you can find out more information about the event on Saturday at 6 p.m. And you can find out more about Kamal Siddiqui's case.
No doubt.
And I thank for the opportunity. Peace and love.
Without a doubt. See you soon. Checking out the Remix Morning Show. We'll be right back at you. This is my man Lakeem Winborn doing what he do. Remix. Yes, welcome back. What's happening, good people?
Hey.
Okay,
That was a really informative interview there. I wanted to ask him, but I didn't want to interrupt the flow. But I'm just curious how this most recent Supreme Court decision could impact Imam Jamil's appeals. If new evidence is there that exonerates him, is it even going to be allowed to be admitted into court? Will it see the light of day? Yeah.
Innocence is irrelevant, right?
Oh yeah, yeah,
I
absolutely.
mean, the Supreme Court told us that we don't care.
Yeah.
And we're talking about these prisoners. When you talk about like Dr. Mutulu Shakur, for instance, I remember when I first moved to Atlanta, they used to have him call into the local radio station. Shout out to WRFG. And I remember being on a show with one of our elder sisters who is a ancestor now, and Mama Fire. She I remember they had Mama and Jerry, Rising Power, Mama and Jerry. But I remember Dr. Mutulu Shakur called in one day, and I was in the studio, and she was interviewing me, and he said he was talking about political prisoners, and he said, yeah, many of us were locked up because of the same work folks like Kalanji's out there doing. And the thing is, that was crazy is no one said anything about the work I was doing, but he had his ear to the street. You know what I'm saying? He knew what time it was, even behind the walls. And then he was first he was in Atlanta, then they had him down in Florida, and they would have several of the comrades went through to visit him, Dr. Shakur, and they talked about the amount of respect that the prison guards had for him, that the inmates had for him, the different interventions he held. I mean, he was respected. So they had to move him out of that situation, and they ended up moving him to Colorado Supermax. The same with Imam Jamil Al-Amin. There was a case where when he was locked up in Georgia, they sent a skinhead to be his cellmate. The skinhead admitted that they had sent him there to move on Imam Jamil, to take him out. The skinhead took his shahada. The skinhead is a Muslim. So he came in there with one plan and left out there, on something else. So, and many of the guards begin to take shahada. They begin to embrace Islam. So when Lakeem mentioned that he was a state prisoner, but they're treating him like a federal prisoner, Imam Jamil, to me, hands down, if there's a living example of El Hajj Malik Shabazz, of a Malcolm X, it would be Imam Jamil Al-Amin, because he has muscle in his voice, because he has the ability to organize. One of the things, I talked to one of my uncles who was in the military, and he talked about how when he was in DC, that they had these what do you call it, Humvees, and on the back of them they had 50 caliber machine guns. And they said whenever H. Rap Brown gets within a certain radius, then they would be on alert, because they said when H. Rap Brown come to town, it was burn baby burn. You know what I'm saying? He said they burned the cities up because they got behind what the brother was talking about. So it is the work, and I can go on and on with stories. He was friends like with Coretta Scott King when Andrew Young wanted to move his daughter into the community. He came and sat down with Imam Jamil to let him know she was going to be moving in there. The rappers and the professionals, everybody from Ice Cube to Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, whenever they came to town, part of their stop was to make sure they came into the community to check in with Imam Jamil, because they respected his work, because he was a serious organizer. So the thing is, we have to understand that when we're talking about a system of oppression, when we're talking about a police state, we're talking about an industry. We're talking about an industry of death, an industry of enslavement. So in order for that industry to maintain, nothing can get in its way. There can't be a a stick in the wheel. The spokes can't be broken. They have to make sure that it is rolling correctly. And folks like Imam Jamil, folks like Dr. Mutulu Shakur are a threat to their establishment, not because of any guns, but because of the fact that they know what time it is, and other people check in on that sundial as well when they're talking about it. You know, so I just wanted to point that out. Because these are some serious brothers and sisters who have been in many cases have served time for crimes they haven't committed, but beyond that, they've still maxed out on that time, and they still, the state still don't want to let them go.
So Kalonji, you said he mentioned that, you were doing the kind of things or are doing the kind of things that would have gotten him locked up. I know I'm not going to ask this the right way, but are there modern day political prisoners, or does the state sort of feel like that threat has been neutralized to the point where that's not a focus anymore? Now the focus is, how do we kill them on another front?
Well, the United States don't even acknowledge political prisoners. They don't even say that, they don't acknowledge that we.
You know what I mean, though.
Right. Are there people still doing the work? Are you saying that, or
are there people still doing the work who are being subverted by the state and imprisoned for the work?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
In the way that happened, during COINTELPRO, you know what I mean?
Right.
But Ferguson, I mean, there's a number of our activists locked up still in Ferguson. I know one of the brothers, I think his first name is Josh. I can't think of his last name.
Yeah, but Joshua Williams.
Right. Josh Williams is in jail right now for what? They say he burned a trash can, and I think he's doing 9 years, like nine years for that. So definitely, I mean, I'll let Kalonji answer, but that Josh was the first person that came to my head. Like, yeah, absolutely. They are giving people bogus time out here for having the audacity to stand up.
Yeah.
I just hear about folks like DeRay, like, I got arrested. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
and I'm glad you brought that up, because your question is valid. And there are a lot of people that are, for all practical purposes, pieces of shit. And a lot of these new cats, they're calling themselves political prisoners because they were arrested in a civil disobedience case, or they were arrested doing dumb shit. Part of our liberation movement is the necessity and it being mandatory that you have political education. You have to understand what this thing is all about, because if not, you can by default be aiding the state. You know what I'm saying? You can be assisting the state in setting your people up because you're not studying, you don't understand what's going on. And unfortunately, a lot of these folks, they want to be the new this, the new that. You know what I mean? And be you. You know what I mean? Be you, come original, but study. There's always folks who came before us. You know what I mean? And there's a lot of OGs and elders. One of the things that I am all the way grateful for, I'm under Imam Jamil Al-Amin's leadership as far as through his community, but I had the opportunity to work with, folks like his brother Ed, who's now an ancestor. So learning firsthand from a lot of these different OGs is really what has driven me. I would say like 75% of the people that I bring on Riot Starter TV are people that I actually organize with in real life. You know what I mean? So I'm not just doing an interview, and I'm not just bringing folks on for the sake of bringing them on. I'm bringing them on because I know that they have information that needs to be shared with the masses. So it's not about how many hits we get or any of that type of stuff. It's about, look, are you really, and I'm talking to the folks in the chat and to us as a whole, when these folks are talking and when they're speaking to us, do you have a pen and a pad taking note, or are you just in the chat dropping quotes? You know what I mean? Learn. These is a lot of the folks we have in organizing is the new cool. The film itself, our ancestors. We have at least, since we started that film, I think we have about close to 10 different folks who are in our film that are now ancestors, and the film hasn't even been released yet. And we've been pushing, we've been recording since 05, 06. You know what I mean? So the thing is, a lot of the folks that you see coming on this platform, we had Blood McCreary on the BLA special, and you see he's an ancestor now. You know, man, take note. Don't just watch the show. Don't just watch us to be entertained. Learn, get that education, because you know you can't get a lot of the information that we're pushing out just anywhere.
Yeah,
So I hope I
and
answered your
shout out
question.
to Nawadi, Emma, and Quaker Anarchist in the chat, because they're reminding me, obviously, that a number of, speaking specifically about Ferguson, a number of activists have been killed, murdered. Their murders remain open and unsolved, and I think a lot of people in the area believe that the police is probably killing these activists. You know, shout out to King Darren Seals. You know, rest in power to Darren Seals, but he is just one of, I want to say, almost 10. Like, there was, it's not an insignificant number of people who were connected to the Ferguson movement and the Ferguson uprisings who have been murdered, but shot in the head, found in burned out cars. Like, there's no question to me who is killing them. You know what I mean? And Quaker Anarchist in the chat reminded us, obviously, our indigenous brothers and sisters continue to be political prisoners right alongside of us. The water protectors from the Stop the Dakota Access Pipeline. We saw it with the Enbridge Line 3 in northern Minnesota, where indigenous water protectors savagely brutalized by police, and some of them even falsely incarcerated and still remain incarcerated. So the political prisoners, I mean, the government has not taken its foot off the pedal in making sure that people who are leaders and who are with the shits out here find themselves in a cell for indefinitely, right? So they keep going. They keep going.
Right. And again, that's the importance of being a part of an organization. And I cannot stress it enough. And I know that, you know, I get it. You know, I've been a part of, before we started FTP, I was a part of a couple different organizations. You know what I mean? And you know, sometimes, you know, you don't feel like things are working out, or the organization is doing what needs to be done. But sometimes you have to look in the mirror yourself and say, what can I add on to this? But you have to insulate yourself. You have to COINTELPRO proof yourself, and you have to be with individuals, with groups of individuals who understand the difference between a comrade and a friend. Because when you're dealing with warfare, we don't have the luxury of talking about who you don't like. That's irrelevant. You know what I'm saying? I don't like everybody that's a part of the FTP movement, and they all may not like me. That's irrelevant. The reality is we respect each other, and we can count on each other to do what needs to be done. That's it. We're not backbiting. We're not running around talking bullshit. You know what I mean? We're on what we on, and we deal with it principally. You know what I mean? And that's what it's all about. You know what I'm saying? When you talk about a friendship, you know, that's a whole different thing, because, you know, well, you know, this motherfucker hurt my feelings, or she didn't come to my party, and all this other bullshit that don't mean anything in the grand scheme of things. But I implore you all to join an organization. Join an organization. And if you're too good to join an organization, then I don't really know what to tell you, because, I mean, you can't be out here naked. If you look at the brothers and sisters that are being murdered by police, most of the times they're hunted down by these hyenas, and you could be the lion of the day, but 7-8 hyenas get around you, then you have a problem. So anyway, someone asked about the film, when we will be dropping that film. We're putting some finishing touches on it, and we want to make sure that you know, we're giving folks the best we can give them, and not just, you know, throwing shit out there just because we can. You can support it because we're still it is totally funded, you know, by us. You know what I mean? And organizersnewcool.com is the website. You want to put something on it, organizersnewcool.com. And we plan on dropping it this year, you know, but we're taking our time to make sure that it's correct.
That's what's happening. I'm looking forward to Organizing is the New Cool, because you guys already have a trailer out. Do I have that
Yes,
correct?
we have a trailer, and we did 2 screenings already. We did a screening literally 3 years ago at a theater here in Atlanta, and we did a international screening in Australia 2 years ago. You know what I mean? So, folks have seen, some of it. As if you follow us on Twitter and all that stuff, you see we've gotten several different awards for best documentary and everything so far, which is it's cool. But we know that what we want to do with it, because you got to think about the fact that we've been recording since 2006. So think about all the different types of film, the colorization that's needed, the different types of sound, technologies advanced, and all of that. So we want to make sure it's smooth as a violin.
Are we gonna get flued out to Atlanta for the premiere?
Y'all gonna get flued out here? Yeah, we can talk to BPM to the but and we're planning on, we're doing a film festival run right now. So, we may end up in a city near you. But if you want to, get a little sneak peek, like I said, go to the website organizingisthenewcool.com. And we'll see about doing a lightweight screening wherever you at.
That's what's happening.
With the people at.
The people down.
Yes. But I think the ear doctor might have a little something to spend for us. I mean, I don't know if he's down for the cause or not. You got the pyramids.
What was the number day?
Nah, we not spending the day. We didn't hit our mark of 275, but yeah. But I wanted to say, man, didn't I seen something about an award for this documentary already? You got?
Yeah, we just got another one a couple of days ago. I forgot what the name of the film festival is, but it's pretty dope. We grateful, shit. I mean, it's been a long time coming, and shout out to my team because I have 3 partners on it. My man Flux, Saber, and Ree, for putting up with it's been hard, boy. We've been boxing. There's been some days where it looked like we was gonna rumble, but we have some great people in the film as well. Folks like Daruba and Balogun and man, so many folks that you'll recognize. Tommy Ford for Martin. Who else is in that joint? Man, Amiri Baraka. Whole lot of folks. So check it out when you get a chance.
So it was the winner of the. Sorry,
my bad.
I was gonna say it was the winner of the Best Documentary Feature Platinum Award from the Royal Wolf Film.
Thank you.
Academy.
So I see you follow us. Thank you very much.
Eric needs to be on the PR team.
I know. I'm embarrassed, but I mean I'm grateful. But I mean but at the end of the day, we're not even doing it for that. What I'm saying? We're doing it to for us to be victorious in real life. Not, the awards and all of that. That's cool. You know what I'm saying? But we prefer the people saying, we're gonna get behind the work and join on with what you're doing. To me, that's more important.
So speaking of getting behind the work, I mean, we are over 17,000 subscribers on the channel. Yeah. We do a good job of getting a little crowd in here, you know what I'm saying, from time to time. I mean, I think it's time for us to meet up. Now, I know monkeypox is out here, and I know COVID is still out here, but I know a lot of y'all is not tripping off monkeypox and COVID, which I am definitely disturbed by, but that's a separate conversation. Yeah. So when we going to do a meetup? When we going to have like a BPM, like a live joint? When we going to have like a Remix morning show, but after dark in person? In a city near you.
we got to put it together. So many schedules. I know even with Kalonji doing a film with I mean, we just got to figure it out. We got to do it for the people. We definitely got to figure it out. We're going to get it together. Hopefully this year, right? Got to get
2022.
But before we get out of here, make sure y'all do go ahead and hit that like button before we get out of here, and also go subscribe. Also, go check out the merch if you haven't. Y'all seen the basketball commercial. Y'all seen that boy's nice on the court. Stop playing. Also, Kim, you got anything coming up?
Yeah, tonight is a special screening, special edition, special broadcast of Burn It Down with Kim Brown. No show for Friday night, but we are doing our show live tonight at 7. And like Kalanji pointed out serendipitously that
Ooh.
today marks an anniversary for Fannie Lou Hamer and her being attacked and assaulted just for standing up for Black folks. And that's not, it doesn't end there, unfortunately, when it comes to Black women experiencing brutalization from police and from the state. So that's something I want to focus on for tonight's show. So tune in 7 p.m. Please go subscribe. Burn It Down with Kim Brown. We appreciate y'all.
No doubt. And make sure y'all come back in the morning. Check out I Mix What I Like at 8 o'clock with Dr. Jared Ball. And Saturday, we got Warrior Class at 1 o'clock. And Sunday, we got Sundays at 8 p.m. So make sure y'all tune in for all these different shows. Hit that notification bell so you can know.
What's the theme? What's the theme for Sundays, doctor?
That's a good question. You're gonna have to come and find out.
I'm gonna have to make some requests. You know what I'm saying?
You know what? Sundays, taking requests. That's what we're doing on Sundays. So y'all make sure y'all join me. And this is the one time a DJ is gonna say, yes, I'm taking requests. Because
I'm a challenge right now. We need some revolutionary hip hop for Sunday. What's up?
Hey, give me an artist, give me a song, and put it in the chat, and we're gonna do it. So,
I'm gonna join and request clips.
No doubt.
I got you.
Even though I don't know what that is.
We're gonna put her on the clips for real.
Oh yeah. Saturday night.
Sorry, Erica. Look, people said it in the chat, and I was thinking the same thing. Like, girl, what you just bodied the clips unintentionally, like better than Lil Wayne could ever think to a body in the clips. Dog, that shit was so funny.
Shout out to the clips. Y'all just did wrong. Yeah, Saturday. Don't forget too. Saturday evening, 6 p.m. We will be broadcasting live the joint that Lakeem just finished talking about in regards to political prisoners. So rock with us, man. We love and appreciate you all so much. As Kim mentioned, we're like 17.5 right now on the subscribers. That's not bad for a year and some change right now.
And on top of that, for Sundays, you all should know, but it is very rare for a DJ in a free gig to accept requests. So y'all need to take advantage of tuning into Sundays, because DJs do not take requests. They are not here for that request shit. No. So this is a special thing.
If you don't, we're gonna have him teaching history class here at BPM every day. So you got a choice.
Hey, please request. Please call in.
Yo, that's so petty. Oh my goodness, Erica.
That's Erica. I don't know.
That's Erica.
Look, petty
ear doctor's history classes.
All three of y'all.
Political education with the ear doctor.
Yes.
Hey, yo, I wanted to leave you on a good note and take you on to the weekend and show y'all a clip of some. You see, I'm in Africa right now. Of some African dancing by a group called Agun Amode. So check this out and enjoy your weekend, y'all. This is Black Power Media, the Remix Morning Show. Let's go.
Hi, everybody. Have a good one.